we're live. GM to the ones watching us live, and GM to the ones who are watching this later, the recording. Today we're meeting today to discuss communities on the Metaverse, and mostly what DAOs are and how they work. For today, we have a very interesting in the future, Senad. Senad is a sociologist by trade. He's currently contributing to Bankless DAO, which is one of the biggest DAOs in the sphere, particularly in the research kit, but not only. He is a crypto enthusiast and blockchain enthusiast. He's an avid coffee drinker, like most of us in the space. And yes, he is happy to take it over and present the rest of the topic for you. Please watch, and if you have questions, please save them for the end of the presentation.
Thank you for the introduction, Mina. Hey, everybody, as Mina said, watching us live or the stream later on, thank you for tuning in. As you can see, today we will be talking about the communities on the Metaverse, in particular DAOs, as such. And so we got 6 points on today's agenda. First one will be kind of a refresher. So what is a DAO? And I will try my best to give you an introduction as well as an overview of DAOs in general. The second part would be a more technical one. How do they function and what technology do they use to operate? The third one is kind of a socio-cultural part, which, is more of a focus on the community and members, I'd say. We continue with types of DAOs as the fourth agenda point, and then lead to discussions and some key takeaways from this presentation. All right. So we can start with what exactly is a DAO. And so DAOs have been around for quite some time now. The first one was created by which voting of its members. And the last one, the organization part, particularly stands for simply a vehicle for agent coordination, which in this case, in DAOs, community DAOs, it's always human coordination. And I found one quote from Robin Schmidt from Defiant when he talked about DAOs, and I'm going to quote what he said. So DAOs are essentially a way of disparate entities to coordinate their activities in the service of a common goal. Be the more technical part, which is gives an overview of how DAOs use blockchain technology. And a lot of DAOs, the blockchain is used as a ledger to record all the activities that goes on, rules according to which the rules are written and hard-coded and can only be changed by voting. And so every DAO is kind of different and dependent, and is depending on its members and the governance structure. And depending on the level of optimization provided by the blockchain technology, DAOs can vary in levels of decentralization, because a lot of DAOs start in a centralized manner. There's a small group of maybe up to 10 people forming the DAO, writing everything down, preparing its launch, bootstrapping process, and DAOs decentralized. And so it's more kind of a tokenized, I would say it's a tokenized community at the start, and it becomes a decentralized community over time as more contributors join and the space develops and grows. The second part would be how do we DAO? Like, what's for everyday DAO life for organization part. And so most DAOs organize themselves directly via various centralized Web2 platforms. And in most cases, it's Discord or Twitter. And so a lot of DAO contributors, one of the first things they do after waking up, I hope they first of all drink some coffee, do something for themselves, stretch a little bit, because they are going to spend a few hours of sitting in front Discord and checking what has happened while they were asleep, but maybe more on that later. Second part would be the bots that are integrated into the DAOs. So in Bankless DAO, for example, we have DGen, which I believe is our own bot that we have integrated, but we also use other bots to, like, from different websites, such as Sashbot, for example, creating events. And this means simply if there is a call happening, could be a weekly meeting, could be a monthly meeting, could be a random event. A member can schedule this through the integration with, in our case, Bankless DAO, for example, or other DAOs as well, through the integration with the server on Discord. This event then shows up and members are able to see and participate. It's just like, quick intro. And while DAOs are presented as a Web3 innovation, the reality is that DAOs are not fully automated through Web3. And as it stated, at least not at the moment. I see this kind of like we are using the current Web2 structure, Web2 infrastructure to really help kind of building the bridge between the real world and Web3, and thereby as well building the whole Web3 infrastructure, which is mainly an ownership outside. Literally own the things that, or you are able to own what you create. And so, let's talk about this sociocultural part. So governance, big term, very important. So DAOs are by default decentralized organization, but as stated, they often start as more centralized communities, which decentralized over time. And so this means that they require a bottom-up approach due to a lack of central authority that dictates. And the nice thing about DAOs and digital, like the cool thing here is that blockchain technology makes this possible to really have communities or bottom-up governance on the internet. And so while each DAO's governance is at the discretion of some elements that tend to be present in the vast majority of DAOs. And I think these are like 5 main points with it, which is the governance tokens. So the governance token grants their holder decision-making abilities within the DAO. An example is that a governance token that you can hold and it's in your wallet in this term. And most cases, Ethereum communities, I would say it's MetaMask or other wallets. You hold this governance token, and there are tools that we use, for example, Snapshot, submitted, and you can vote on those proposals with the tokens in your wallet, which is the token. So you are part of the governance process and have a saying within the community. The second thing would be a way of maintaining transparency during decision-making processes. And so I think this is kind of self-explaining. So I would continue with the work groups. So different ways in which the contributors of DAO can organize their activities based on their skills and interests. And so what we have in Bankless DAO, as Mina has, members are coming in, contributing to her space, taking ownership and a share of, in this case, a work group, and help this smaller kind of community of people working under a specific, let's say, in some cases, guild, grow over time. And so that's with work groups. And fourth point will be volunteer-based work opportunities and job opportunities. Could be bounty boards or job boards that are published and shown in the DAO. And the fifth point will be leaders. So while they are not bosses or CEOs, compensate its contributors. And so DAOs in general provide fair compensation for the work done within the organization, mostly by distributing their governance token. And so most DAOs have a treasury that is managed by appointed members, can contain different types of tokens and cryptocurrencies. Talking about treasury diversification, which can vary from media content creation to research to art collection. The scope of a DAO influences the kind of community it attracts, the culture they are building. And so, yeah, but these are the types of DAOs, which are the next part. Generally speaking, a DAO culture is influenced by general Web3 and crypto culture. This includes use GM, WAGMI or HODL, and overarching interest. And so GM stands for good morning. WAGMI stands for where Solana as well .sol or .xyz domain, which is in most cases the address to the Ethereum or to their crypto wallet. Next DAOs, which is one of the last things, and there are a lot of types because the thing about so DAOs operating so maybe just in a DAO, a lot of types, and DAOs can literally form around every kind of are first of all DAO operating systems. And these are in general platforms that provide the infrastructure to other organizations to become DAOs. And in this case, we have Colonia as example. But as I've stated earlier, like in 2017, one, if not the first DAO, was Aragon, who does something similar. Orca protocol would be another example. I think one of the most popular podcasts within the whole DAO space is On the Other Side, which is hosted by Chase Chapman, and she's been a core contributor, I believe, in Orca protocol. So definitely an interesting one. The second one would be protocol DAOs. These